Welcome to our first ever webinar, How to Accelerate Your Amazon FBA Business. I'm here with Ernesto Reza, CEO and co-founder of Mayan. Mayan is a growth automation platform for Amazon sellers. Ernesto was also the third employee of Thrasio, which is a brand first starting as a brand manager and then as the head of product at Thrasio. And for those of you who don't know Thrasio, it's the largest and leading aggregator of Amazon businesses. And we have with us our special guest, Andrew Laird, our very own senior account manager at Mayan. And Andrew has over 5 years of experience working in the e-commerce space, where he is a former entrepreneur of an over $3 million revenue Amazon business. So we're really happy to have you both here. And we have a really great presentation for you. Calling out that we'll be taking questions during the presentation here in the chat, and we'll do our best to address them as they come along. But if we don't have time, then we'll get to them at the end. Otherwise, you can also email us at info@mayanlytics.com with any questions. So with that, Ernesto, handing it to you.
Awesome. Thank you for the lovely introduction. Welcome, everyone. Happy to have you here today. So let's dive right in. What we'll cover today are 5 key topics. 1, some changes you can do to optimize your listing. 2, how you can use inventory and supply chain as a competitive advantage. 3, how to really leverage the power of ads within and off of Amazon. 4, some key strategies for holiday planning. And finally, at the end, a nice little hack. So as Julia mentioned, I come from Thrasio prior to starting my analytics. My whole career has really been around data, so I have 8 years of data experience. By the time I left Thrasio, we had more than 65 brands under management, and we're doing over $200 million in annual sales. And that led me to get insight into millions of data points and experiments that we leverage to grow Amazon businesses. So let's get going. So how to upgrade your listing and it's really key to help your customer imagine how they would use your product. So first off, in your main image in the results page, you really want to eliminate as much white space as possible. So really focus on your product, make sure it can take up as much as the image as possible. This is one of our customers, High Desert. You can see they iterated through 2 different main images. They went with the one on the right, it actually is performing very well. So that's another thing. Not only do you want to eliminate white space, but you want to A/B test which images work better. Let the data, let your customers tell you what works better, not really just your gut feeling. From there, lifestyle images are very powerful to, again, let your customer understand how to use your product. 3M did a research in where they found that the human brain processes visuals 60,000 times faster than text. So it really means that, hey, as soon as a customer lands on your listing, their eyes are going to go straight to the images, and you want to convey as much key information about your product in the image. So here on the left, we have a good example. The product is some cones, and you see on the right, they have an image where they show a possible way that you can leverage these cones, which is, maybe your kids playing soccer and leverage them to practice. However, on the right, here we have a much better lifestyle image where the product is carpet stair treads. And you see, not only are they showing you how you could potentially leverage this product so your little toddler won't slip on the wood stairs as he's going up and down, but more importantly, they are highlighting that key feature with text. So really using the power both of the images as well as text to highlight key attributes. And finally, you want to improve your listings with video. 30 to 45-second video really gets the job done. It really helps increase your conversion. Again, it lets your customer imagine themselves using the product. And you also in here want to use video captions, just a few key texts or key attributes of the product that you want to highlight again. And we'll go through a brief example. Real quick, can you still see my screen?
Yeah, we can see your screen.
All right. Lower the volume. So here's okay, we
can't see the video though.
Let me see some.
But it's okay. Ernesto.
Super quick. It's
Oh,
okay.
okay. The video is crucial to the process.
We got it going. Now you can see it, right?
Yes, perfect.
All right. Let's start it off real quick again. So here we have the product, salt and pepper mill. Cool. Now we understand what the product is. Oh, they're premium. Got it. So we're highlighting that it's higher quality. You're highlighting a key feature, adjustable corners. So maybe you can use it for your salad, for coarser grains. Understand the products that is good for Himalayan salt, kosher salt, etc. So really, overall, very simple video. Just highlights the key features and ways that you can use it. So let me just go real back to the presentation real quick.
Yeah, thanks, Ernesto. While you get the presentation back up, I just have a couple, I guess, tips that I want to add to that. And the first is that, Amazon offers you a certain amount of real estate for any of your product listings. And it's really important to utilize everything that Amazon offers. I see so many cases where sellers are not using as many photos as they could or not taking advantage of videos. So just in general, you should have a minimum of 7 to 8 high quality photos for every listing. And by high quality, I mean that it's 1,000 pixels on each side of the image. And this is important because if it's anything less than that, then you won't get the hover over zoom feature that you can have on your Amazon listing. That's just one example of a way to stand apart from your competition. The second, like Ernesto was talking about, is creating a video. But when you think about the video, it should really be about how you can create an emotional attachment to this product by creating a video that shows how you're going to use it in real life situations. You don't just want a simple video of a product spinning. You want to be able to understand how this product is going to fit into your life and why you need to buy it right now, because it's going to make your life that much better. And finally, if you haven't already, registering your brand on Amazon is incredibly important. I've seen lots of our customers that haven't registered their brand, and it's important for a couple of reasons. First is that it protects your listing. So once you're registered, you won't get hijacked, you won't have your listings taken over, you won't have other sellers listing their products under your listing. Second is you can add A+ content to any of your products. So that's just an additional area where you can design a page however you want to really promote the products that you're selling in a way you want to. And finally, if you do get brand registered, you can also create a brand store, which is really important, especially if you're doing sponsored brand advertising, because you want to bring people to your store, which might showcase a whole portfolio of products instead of just a single product, and it can increase your average order value as well. So these are all techniques that you should definitely consider when you're thinking about building out your listings.
So Andrew, if I recall, for your product, didn't you take photos of the product yourself, like using your own product, or did you hire like an expensive model or a photographer?
Good question. So, videos can be very expensive to create. I'd say the minimum if you're going to hire an agency is about $1,000 per product. My product happens to be, or one of my products is a housing for iPhones that lets you film underwater. So I utilized some of my customers' footage from what they were taking with our product, and then edited together with some footage that I had taken to make a really compelling product video that cost me less than $100 to produce. So
Nice.
there are ways to sort of get around that really expensive upfront, $1,000 plus video cost if you do want to implement them into your listings.
Awesome. Thank you so much for those tips on how to improve your listing. And with that, let's go to our next little tidbit, Ernesto.
Yeah, let's keep on going.
Yeah.
All right, inventory and supply chain. How can you turn this from a cost into a competitive advantage? So for many, maybe we consider this our COGS, manufacturing plus Amazon fees. But if we really get granular, it looks a lot more like this, where you have manufacturing, packaging, product inserts, quality assurance, freight forwarding, the list goes on. And this might seem overwhelming. You have, oh man, so many costs to keep track of, and my cost of goods sold is increasing, or it might seem like a lot to handle. But really the way to think about it is these are all areas that you can optimize. And in any of these where you have a cost savings, it's a competitive advantage. That cost savings can lead to higher margins, which means maybe you can dedicate more budget or be more aggressive on advertisement, or you can just price your product better, or simply keep it the same and just know that you have better margins than your competition. So any of these areas that you can optimize and reduce costs are going to give you a competitive advantage. And again, lead you to either advertise more, expand product. The more you save, the more you can invest in other areas. And yeah, just higher margins overall. So we're all familiar with this, the Amazon Inventory Performance Index and the restock limits. Again, these can be considered as a competitive advantage if you use them correctly. And the way that I like to think about how to make restocking decisions is around these three key attributes that really help grow my brand and get more revenue for my products. One is anytime I'm making a decision. So let's say you have 1,500 total units that you can send into Amazon. Currently, you have 1,000 units there, so you have 500 that you can send in. That's your restock limit. And let's say you have 10 products in your product line and you need to restock 5. Well, how do you make the decision on what the distribution between those 5 products should be? Well, the first consideration you should make is what are the individual products' sales velocity? Why do we want to consider this? Well, sales velocity is a key parameter in Amazon's algorithm to determine search rank. So the more you send products that have a higher sales velocity, the better you're going to improve that product's. The more you can continue to improve on that product's organic rank, as well as then make a argument to Amazon. It's like, hey, I'm selling through my product very fast. You should allow me to expand my restock limit so I can send more product and continue to sell faster. Another good consideration to make is around, which products are more profitable to your business. You may have a product that has a 20% profit margin and one that has 10% profit margin. So you just want to be sending a greater amount of the product that's going to give you more money, leave more money in your business. And finally, you also need to consider advertising performance. And what I would look at here is ROAS, basically meaning, which products have the highest or the most efficient advertisement, which ties back to that sales velocity, which ties back to you being able to make an argument to Amazon that, hey, please increase my restock limit because I'm selling through my product very fast. And all of this is with the end goal of having the greatest return on investment. Andrew, you want to chime in here on ways that you've gotten competitive through optimizing your cost, or maybe how you think about restock limits?
Yeah, the best way to think about it is, just a new framework for thinking about your logistics. With all the delays and issues we've seen with, shipping containers getting stuck in ports and just, problems with global logistics. It's been a huge struggle for a lot of our sellers to stay in stock, and not just with the restocking limits, but also, getting supplies from overseas. So the way I think about it now is really taking a 6-month time frame and making sure that I have products finished in production, either in the US or with my manufacturers at any given time. And anytime it goes below that level, it's time to reorder from my manufacturers. I mean, staying in stock is so important for Amazon. There are, so many risks and so many other issues that come up when you're out of stock. Like, for example, it's not just the lost sales for a given, day, week, or month. It's a huge problem because your sales rank is going to go down, your velocity is going to slow down. All of these things are going to affect your sales. And then when you're finally back in stock, you can't expect to have the same daily sales that you have before. So it's really just about, expecting more delays in the future and really just planning ahead as much as you can. And, think about 6 months of inventory, that can be really expensive. But if you have a winning product and you're ready to compete on Amazon, that's what you need to think about. And if you don't have the cash right on hand, then sometimes it's worth it to think about some growth capital options. Getting loans specifically for inventory can be very effective and generally have a much lower rate than other business loans.
Yep. And just expanding on that is, the shipping trends, the issues that we've seen that kind of have hit us hard since COVID made its appearance in the world. It was a rough year, 2021, and 2022 is not looking any better. You have the port delays. I mean, we have a customer who's had products stuck in LA for 8 weeks. It's right there within access, but he still can't get his hands on it because the ports are so clogged. So different ways that you can essentially mitigate this risk or look towards the future and how to, just mitigate this risk is looking to other countries for the manufacturing of your products. Two candidates that really stand out are India and Mexico. Both countries have much lower labor wages than China. And in Mexico in particular, you have the advantage that with the newly revamped NAFTA, essentially you don't have to pay tariffs. There's also the program in Mexico called IMEX, which is basically if the raw material is now in Mexico, you can import it with no tariffs either. And finally, is the particular strong case for Mexico is the vicinity, not only for you to be able to visit the manufacturing plant, to go for the quality assurance process, but also a large number of the population speaks English. So it'll be a much easier experience in your manufacturing process. And most importantly, say goodbye to sea shipments. You can just put it on a truck and it goes across the border, much more simple. So yeah, these are important, interesting ways that you can mitigate the risk of all your supply chain coming out of China.
Yeah, and Ernesto, that happened with some of my products recently. I had production finished at the end of August, and I could not find space on a boat that would allow me to get the products in time for Black Friday, for the holiday season. So that was really frustrating, and I ended up having to airmail a lot of my products, which cost about 5 times as much as sending it by sea. And that honestly was kind of a disaster. It eats into your margins. It's just a really frustrating experience. So any way to sort of shift your manufacturing, making your logistics easier, is definitely something to look into.
And again, going back to that earlier slide, it's a way that you will reduce your freight costs again, which turns into a competitive advantage for you. And just wanted to finally highlight on the point that you made earlier, Andrew, that it's not only the loss of sales that's the detrimental effects to your business when you go out of stock, but more importantly, going back to that sales velocity, those 100 units, for example, let's use 100 units. If you were selling 100 units a day and you go out of stock, customers are still coming in to buy those 100 units. They're now just buying it from your top competitors. So not only did you drastically decrease your sales velocity, you're also increasing your competitors' sales velocity. So going to Andrew's point, it becomes harder when you come back in stock to really go back in that rank. So it's very important to stay in stock. And a quick tip on a way that you can mitigate going out of stock once you are running low on inventory, maybe you don't have anything coming in, increase your prices. Increase your prices, your sales velocity will slow down, but not as drastically as if you go out of stock. And, if you increase your prices and you're still purchasing, you increase your profits, and maybe you found a new price point that you can work in. So let's move on. How can you use ads to really drive sales and improve your ranking? Well, as an e-commerce operator, you have many ways that you could potentially advertise. You have not only Amazon and all the different ways that you can advertise within Amazon, but also you have other advertisement platforms, Google, Facebook, Instagram. The list goes on. And honestly, it can be a little overbearing, but the best practice here is really to dedicate 80% of your advertising budget for within Amazon advertisement and 20% off of Amazon advertisement. And that's primarily driven by the fact that any customer visiting Amazon has a much higher intent to purchase. And then distribution within Amazon, we recommend is 70% towards sponsored products and then 30% towards sponsored brand and sponsored video. Going back again to the earlier slide, that's why it's also beneficial to create a video for your listing. You can also use that video for your advertisement. So it's a 2-1 punch. And it's important to highlight why it's important to advertise. Well, 60% of all sales within Amazon are preceded by an ad. So it's becoming more and more a pay-to-play platform, and you gotta advertise. It's the name of the game essentially.
So Ernesto, are you saying basically like me as a user, I'm scrolling through my Instagram, I'll come across an ad for an Amazon product or like an influencer of some sort showcasing the product?
Yeah, off of Amazon advertising, there's various ways that you can do it. Google is powerful just because it also ties to the Amazon A9 algorithm of you driving off Amazon traffic into Amazon. So Amazon rewards you in the organic ranking that way. And then within Instagram, yeah, there's actual advertisement, but there's also leveraging influencers. And the key type of influencers that you want to leverage is what are called nano influencers, which are kind of in the 1,000 to 5,000 or low thousands range. And the reason why you want to leverage micro influencers is their audiences trust them more and they have a much deeper connection with them. So the influencer it's not just gonna be like LeBron James who will advertise any product even if he doesn't really buy into it or care about it because he's just getting paid millions and millions of dollars, right? These micro influencers are really not making too much money from you leveraging them as an influencer. It's really more that they do really believe in the product and what you're offering. So if you're gonna advertise for Amazon, that's another area where I would recommend looking at.
All right, but mostly Amazon. So yeah, feel free to continue, but I'm just really fascinated by that concept as well.
Yeah, definitely focus on Amazon as your main advertising source. So going off of that, other ways that Amazon really rewards you and rewards your organic rank is the more that you use their tools and their capabilities. And a really interesting one is lightning deals. Black Friday, Cyber Monday are coming up. That's a big opportunity to leverage lightning deals and to particularly leverage this strategy, which is whenever you create a lightning deal, Amazon basically tells you a minimum quantity that you have to dedicate towards that lightning deal. Let's say that minimum quantity was 100, or you just wanted to leverage 100 units. What you can do is leverage the power of human psychology, particularly around FOMO. Why FOMO? Well, or how to leverage and build that FOMO using lightning deals. What you can do is once, let's say, going back to the example, 90 units of your 100 unit lightning deal have been claimed. What you can do at that point is increase the number of units that you have contributed to the lightning deal. What you effectively want to do is keep it at about that 90% claim rate. And why? Why does that work to drive FOMO? Well, one, it signals confidence to the customer that this is a product that other customers actually want and that they're buying, so that it seems valuable. And more importantly, what the 90% or the 10% left of units available also means that like my opportunity to get in on this deal, to buy this product is limited. So let's act now. So you can leverage this, throughout the day or throughout the length of your lightning deal. The only caveat is to go in and having a strong number of where you're going to cap it, where you are going to end the lightning deal. Because what this lightning deal is also going to do, it is going to help your organic ranks. So after the lightning deal is over, you're going to experience a boost or a spike in organic sales because your organic rank went up. So you want to take this into account so that a very effective lightning deal doesn't drive you into out of stock, which is turning it into going from a brand growth opportunity to a detrimental opportunity. So just keep in mind that when you leverage this strategy. And finally, coupons. Coupons are another great way that you can help drive organic rank. They actually work a lot better, than giveaways for new product launches. And then the way you can do this is, you can increase the normal sale price of your product and then give a more aggressive coupon. Most sellers are not really going to leverage, or most customers, are not going to really leverage the coupon that much. But the fact that you have it and the fact that some do use it, and it's a tool that Amazon leverages, or a tool that Amazon offers that you leverage, Amazon will reward you, and you can experience a boost in your organic rank. Andrew, not sure you have experience with any of these two, or rather how you've effectively used them.
Now, I've used all of them: lightning deals, coupons, and Prime exclusive discounts as well, which I'll cover in the next section a little bit. And it's really a great way to just sort of figure out your pricing as well. So even aside from the organic sort of increase in your ranking that it'll help, just understanding your price point and what the demand is like for your product. It's really helpful to use some of these features. I also want to touch quickly back on some of the advertising optimization tactics you were talking about before. That's a lot of what I do at my analytics, and a lot of my experience is in the advertising space. So I'd say, generally there are some, pretty obvious advertising optimization techniques. So, doing things like your keyword analysis, your keyword research, structuring your ads correctly between your budgets and the different types of campaigns, like what you were talking about, Ernesto. Moderating your budgets and your bids is also important. And then, just making sure that your top performing ads don't run out of budget during the day. We see this mistake made by sellers all the time. But there are definitely some more advanced features that are available. One through, obviously through my analytics, because we've built a machine learning system to adjust bids and budgets and things like that, but also through the Amazon platform, there are two new features that I want to talk about. The first is budget rules. And this is still in beta, but it's available in the advertising platform right now. And it lets you create a rule to increase your budget during a certain, span of a couple of days, a specific day of the week, so that if you notice that your products sell really well on Monday, for example, you can automatically increase your budgets with these rules. The second feature I want to talk about is the new attribution. And this is really important, something that was a huge headache for me, over my past 5 years selling on Amazon, was I could never figure out if my Facebook, Instagram, or Google ads that I was driving to Amazon were actually resulting in any sales. That was a complete blind spot, which is a nightmare for any marketer, to be honest. So Amazon has finally come out with a solution called attribution that lets you create a unique URL that you can place in any of your Google, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, any ad platform that you'd want to use. So you can see exactly how many clicks are going to your Amazon products. And then finally, you get some insights on how many sales those advertisements are generating. So I was really happy to see that feature launch this year. And it's something that I've already implemented for some of our customers.
Awesome. Yeah. And that feature is very powerful because it really allows you to be data driven and understand how should I go around reallocating my budget, right? If I have Facebook ads, Google ads, and I see that, hey, I'm getting a lot more sales on Google through Facebook, maybe let me take some budget out of Facebook and put it more into Google. So yeah, very powerful feature that Amazon has rolled out. Sweet. Well, we have the holidays coming up, and I know this is a very special time and lots of growth for your company, Andrew. So we'd love to let you chime in here and lead the charge.
Sounds good. So yeah, holidays, depending on the type of product you sell, you can see a 50% increase. I've seen customers have up to a 400% increase during the holiday months in sales. So it's very important to get all of your strategies in line leading up to this date. So last year, we saw $9 billion in online sales during Black Friday and $10.8 billion in online sales during Cyber Monday. This was a 22% and 15% gain, respectively, from 2019. So these are huge numbers. And remember that Amazon accounts for more than 50% of all online sales in the US. So it's a great place to be selling products right now. We also saw a report from Adobe that there's going to be an additional 10% increase during this holiday season. So get ready for this Black Friday and Cyber Monday, because we are going to set records for sales once again. So one thing that I wanted to talk about was Prime exclusive discounts. So in addition to lightning deals and coupons, this is a really great way to, I guess, promote your products, especially over Black Friday and Cyber Monday, and something that I always do for my products. So one, just note that the deadline is November 23rd, and you should submit your products or your deals even earlier than that, because Amazon does have to approve it, and you don't want to get, not get approved and then realize that the deadline is passed. Second is you have to discount your product by a minimum of 20%. So just keep that in mind when you're thinking about your margins and your pricing going into the holiday season. Go to the next slide.
Sweet.
But yeah, just considering what type of deals you're willing to offer, and it depends on your products, it depends on your margins, it depends on your price point. But if you can't really afford offering 20% off, maybe that makes your products unprofitable. A strategy that I've used before is just, increasing your prices going into these holidays. Black Friday and Cyber Monday, everybody is expecting some type of deal. That's why they're going to Amazon. That's why there's, a huge increase in volume during those days. So it is really important to participate in that. But just, increasing your price so that maybe if you increase your price 15%, you can offer a 20% discount, and it's not going to eat into your margins too much. And then just setting your prices back to normal so you can see increased demand, during December when people are still buying for the holidays. And the last trick I want to mention is just, if it applies to your product, adding relevant holiday themed keywords to your products. You can do it in the titles, you can do it in the bullet points, and you can do it in your advertising. So if you have a product that's a great stocking stuffer, or a great gift for dad, or gift for mom, or Christmas gifts for boys or girls, these are all keywords that a lot of people are searching for over the holiday season. So if you can add those to your bullet points, your titles, it's going to increase your organic rank for those specific keywords over the holiday season.
Yeah, thank you. And the only thing I would add, especially on repricing your products, is keep an eye out. Amazon does give you a limit on how many months or weeks before you can increase your price for the lightning deal, these holiday deals to take effect. So just keep an eye out on that. And finally, the bonus hack. As you may or may not know, there has been a large influx of new players into the Amazon ecosystem called the aggregators. And what their business model basically is they go around buying existing Amazon FBA brands and rolling them up into a portfolio. So the hack here is you can go to any of their websites, look them up on Google. Their websites are very easily to find. And then many of them have public information on the brands that they have acquired. So what you can do is go to those brands, and on a weekly, bi-weekly, monthly basis, whatever makes sense for you, is go visit some of the listings of those brands and see, hey, do I see this particular strategy or this type of image or this type of product insert in many of their brands? Basically, you're letting them do the hard work. They have teams of expert across every vertical, advertising, pricing, creative, you name it, that are running experiments across all their brands. So it's going to be public information once it hits Amazon. So just monitor them. And if you see it, repeated across many of the products, be like an artist and steal and just repurpose for your benefit.
Why reinvent the wheel, right?
Exactly. Someone's already doing the hard work. You can just leverage their findings and their learnings at a much cheaper price point for you than for them.
Sounds great.
And finally, just want to talk a little bit more about us and how we've helped many of our customers grow their businesses. So again, we're a growth automation platform for Amazon sellers. And what that means is that we leverage data-driven automations to optimize advertising on your behalf. And soon we're going to be rolling out our inventory feature. But what we've done for customers today already is, on average, within the first month, we grow their ad sales by 30%. We increased their ROAS by 25%, and we have driven more than $10 million in ad sales. We're already working with one of Amazon's top 10 sellers, and a really interesting, some really interesting results that we drove to them is that not only did we make their advertising more efficient, basically meaning we increased their ROAS, but we did this while drastically increasing their ad spend. So these two usually go in opposite directions. The more you spend, the lower your ROAS goes, but we were able to do both for them. And it's something that we potentially do for you as well. So check us out. We have an offer where we can give you a free advertising audit. What this means is we go into your account, plug in, we look at all the advertising data historically, we run a full analysis on it, and then connect with you and give you a report on the areas of opportunity that we see, such as for Andrew mentioned of running out of budget earlier today for some of your key campaigns, among others. And yeah, we would just love to help you continue to grow your business. And that's it for our presentation. So if there are any questions, we would love to take them now.
Yeah, we have a couple of questions. Thank you so much, Ernesto and Andrew, for that insightful presentation. So we have one question here. I've been impacted by the recent supply chain shortages, and some of my best items will likely be low in inventory for the holidays. How can I make the best out of this scenario?
Yeah, so here you really have to know your numbers and take a look at what makes best sense for you. As Andrew mentioned, potentially like if the issue is deriving from not being able to get on a boat or just congestion on the freight aspect of the business, you could maybe look at air freights, air shipment, but just understand that's going to be very costly. The other strategy that I will leverage here is, like I mentioned before, increase the price of your product. Increase, you know, that will definitely slow down your sales velocity, but you will stay in stock. And if you continue to see sales, maybe when you come back in, you can sell at the new price point, or even a price point between that last price that you increased to and your original price. Essentially, you want to try to stay in stock, but it's tough other than, like, you know, planning way ahead of time. But at this point, if you don't already have that inventory on its way or in your hands, it's going to be a difficult situation, unfortunately.
Yeah, if you can afford airmail and it's not going to break the bank, you know, that is an option, and you can generally get products in, you know, 7 days or less sometimes once that's set up. But really, I'd say use this as a learning experience and don't do the same thing next year. Sort of, you know, the best takeaway. You know, start planning further ahead, expect lots of delays and supply chain issues next year, and just get ahead of the curve.
And like I mentioned, you know, potentially start looking into Mexico, the neighbor down south, as if you're selling out of the US, obviously, for other manufacturers that, again, they're closer to the US. You don't have to worry about sea shipments, and it's still going to be a reasonable cost for manufacturing, given that labor is much cheaper there than in China.
So we have another question having come in. I'm already leveraging Amazon's automatic campaigns. How would Minalytics manage my advertising differently?
Yeah, so auto campaigns is kind of Amazon just going like with the shotgun approach. And what we found is that, you know, that is powerful in helping you find new keywords that you could potentially target that you hadn't considered before. But it also can be dangerous if you're not monitoring it, because it can start using some of your budget unwisely. Basically, let's say I sell a blue pen on Amazon. Amazon's auto targeting might start recommending a red pen or pink pen as keywords to target and start driving ad spend towards. And it might not generate any impressions or any sales. So what we do at Minalytics is take a look at that, take some of those and add negative targeting to improve the performance there. And we just also expand on keywords, become more granular. We look at the structure to make sure that the products are essentially separated in a way that makes sense. An example of that is we had a customer that sold shoes to both boys and girls. The original way that the campaign was structured was both of those products were advertising to the same keywords. So sometimes you had a customer searching for kids for a 5-year-old boy, and they would get a image of a shoe of Bell, right? You know, maybe the kid would love it, but most likely it's not going to be a high converting opportunity. So we just go in there and restructure and make sure that the campaigns have the right focus to have the most amount of optimization. And Andrew, feel free to expand on here.
Yeah, I just want to add that pretty much across the board for all of our customers, we see that manual campaigns, especially, you know, when we're optimizing them and monitoring them and using bid adjustments and figuring out what, you know, is the best time of day or day of week to advertise and when your conversion rates are going up. Pretty much across the board, manual campaigns will perform better than automatic campaigns. And like Ernesto was saying, you know, Amazon's algorithm for auto campaigns is not like a super genius. It is literally just blasting out ads and trying to figure out what sticks. And a lot of times we see that it wastes a lot of money on advertising or products that don't make sense or keywords that don't make sense. So that's why with manual campaigns, we have a lot more control over where we're directing those ads and making sure we're spending money in the most efficient way possible.
And we have, oh, sorry, go ahead, Ernesto.
And the last point I will make there is like, Amazon just wants you to spend on advertisement. They don't necessarily want you to be the best at advertising, right? Like you can imagine that, again, going back to the pen example, you're one of many sellers that sells pens. And if you are leveraging Amazon's auto campaigns, Amazon's going to try to play fair and distribute their performance there. And they're just going to want you to spend more. So the way we work is really focus on getting the most performance out of your budget. That when we connect with you from day one, the last recommendation we will ever make is increase your ad spend. We really like to focus in there and optimize existing campaigns, expand with new campaigns to create more targeted advertisements. And once we've shown that, hey, your advertising is more optimized, then that's when we could potentially start having a discussion of, hey, maybe now it makes sense to increase your ad spend. But that's some of the ways we work. And then like Andrew mentioned, our system helps us monitor performance on a day basis, on an hour basis, so we can reallocate both budget and bids to the best performing campaigns.
Well, we're really clearly passionate about helping our customers grow their businesses and own their brands. We're a little over time, but I think we can take one more question. We have another question. Is it best to stay in stock than sell out? Does that help the Amazon algorithm?
Yes. So in general, you definitely want to stay in stock over selling out, especially on these times, the holiday season where Amazon's warehouses are just getting bombarded with product coming in. Every seller is trying to send in their product for the holiday season. The processing times go up. So, the more you can try to stay in stock, and again, increase price is a way to, slow down the sales velocity, the more that will benefit, because you're able to maintain that sales rank or that organic search result rank as much as possible.
Yeah, I'll just add to that.
Sorry, go ahead, Andrew.
Yeah, just quickly. I think it's important to just, consider timelines too, because going out of stock for 1 or 2 days, that's not the end of the world. It's when you're going out of stock for a month or, a couple of weeks, that's when you really start to see issues with your listing, where after a certain amount of time, that's when it becomes to really, really hard to get your organic sales back to what they used to be. So, I think, if you're about to go out of stock, and some strategies that we use are 1, ramping down advertising, and 2, just making sure that you increase the price a little bit so that, maybe, fewer people are going to buy and you're going to extend, how long you can stay in stock a little bit. But just going out of stock for extended periods of time is really what you want to avoid.
Yeah, and just to expand on that, for like the previous question, like Andrew mentioned, is we also take a look at inventory to inform our advertising activity. We don't advertise just for the sake of advertising. We really try to leverage it for what's best for your business. Another way that we differentiate ourselves is like taking a look at what's going on in the organic world. If we see that we're being too defensive, basically driving too many ads, or the account was driving too many ads towards branded keywords, we might dial back on that and see if just your organic sales maintain or improve that way. Again, so that we don't cannibalize our organic sales, and really, again, focus on making advertising effective and work for you, not just advertising for the sake of advertisement.
Well, with that, I think we clearly have a lot more topics to talk about in the near future. There is just so much to unpack here. Ernesto, Andrew, thank you so much for your time and for your expertise. Everyone online, thank you for attending. If you have any further questions, feel free to, I put that link, try.myanalytics.com/webinar. You can also reach out to us at info@myanalytics.com. And with that, thank you all for your time. And that concludes our first ever webinar.
Thank you, everyone, for stopping by, and we'll be doing more of these. So hopefully you found it very helpful, and looking forward to connecting with you all. Thank you.
Take care, everyone.
Thanks.